Hello and welcome back to my channel. Is your Philodendron Pink Princess struggling getting dried or mushy leaves or simply not growing the way it should? Well, you're not alone, and today I'll show you how to save it with a simple stem cutting propagation, the easiest way to rescue and multiply your Philodendron Pink Princess. Make sure to watch until the end to see exactly how I root them and what you can expect in the next few weeks. This is the same plant a few months ago. She was thriving and growing beautifully until I made a mistake. I repotted her into a slightly bigger pot, but I accidentally overwatered it, so the leaves started to show the damage. They became dry, brown and mushy. As you can see now, the plant is completely damaged. The roots are rotten and all the leaves are dried. The good thing is that the stem is still healthy and it even has a few new growths, and that's all you need for successful propagation. This is my older Pink Princess, the mother plant of this cutting. She is large, healthy and growing beautifully. If you want to see how she looked 2 years ago and learn the full care routine, I have linked that video in the description for you to watch later. This propagation process is also the same if you have a healthy plant and simply want to propagate it. It's a very easy process, but you have to do it the right way. The Pink Princess has very thin and sensitive roots, so if you are not watering correctly, it can quickly turn into something like this. It usually starts with browning tips, mushy petioles and leaves that fade, dry out and eventually fall off. If you notice any of these signs, I recommend checking your watering routine. You're probably watering too frequently. If the plant isn't getting enough light, it cannot absorb all that water and the soil stays wet for too long. Always check the soil before watering. I have noticed that the Pink Princess prefers to dry out slightly more between waterings than other philodendrons. Now let's start the propagation process. She has been in water for 2 days, so first I'm going to cut off all the dried roots and remove any leaves or petioles that are still attached. It's good to remove them because this encourages the plant to start producing new growth. As you can see here, behind this petiole, there is a new growth point coming out. Also, check the stem for any mushy or soft parts. If you find any, remove them completely. Next, wash the entire stem very well. If you want, you can also rinse off with diluted 3% peroxide to make sure the rot completely stops. Use a dilution of 1 part peroxide to 3 parts water. It's gentle enough for the stem, but still very effective against bacteria and rot. Now let's identify the nodes. Nodes are the most important part of the propagation, because every new root and every new leaf will grow from a node. A node looks like a small ring, line or bump on the stem. It's the spot where a leaf or petiole used to be. You will often see tiny aerial roots forming there, which is the clearest sign you have found a node. When propagating, every cutting must have at least one healthy node. Without a node, the cutting simply cannot grow. Before cutting, make sure you have clean scissors or a knife and disinfect them well. This will prevent bacteria and rot from spreading to the fresh cuts. I'll begin with the top section. This part has 3 very small growth points and I want to save all of them, so I'm leaving this piece longer. I will cut right here, just below this node. Make a clean, quick cut. Now I'll do the same with the second cutting. I will cut just below the node. You can see that all of these nodes already have aerial roots, which is great because they will start spreading new roots much faster. The third cutting I will cut off at the end. I'm also removing the remaining roots on the bottom, even though they might be partially alive, because I don't want to risk the rot spreading again. 3 cuttings are more than enough for me right now. After cutting, I like to add cinnamon to every fresh cut. Cinnamon is very useful because it's natural antifungal, it helps the cut dry properly, and it reduces the chance of rot during the rooting process. So these are the 3 cuttings, all clean, healthy and ready for propagation. For this rescue propagation, I will use sphagnum moss. As I mentioned before, the Pink Princess has very sensitive and thin roots, and sphagnum moss creates the ideal balance of moisture and airflow. It keeps the environment humid, but it also allows the stem to breathe, which helps prevent rot and encourages healthy root growth. This method is especially good for rescue propagations like this one, but it also works great for healthy cuttings too. If your plant is healthy, you can also propagate it directly in well-draining soil mix. Both methods work, just choose the one you prefer. For plants recovering from rot, I always recommend sphagnum moss first because it gives you more control over moisture and reduces the risk of the problem coming back. First, soak the moss in water to let it absorb as much moisture as it needs. After a minute or 2, squeeze out all the excess water. The moss has to be moist, but not wet. If water is dripping when you squeeze it, it's too wet and can cause rot. When the moss is ready, you can place it into a clean container, box or pot. I prefer to use transparent container because I can see exactly what's going on and when the moss starts to dry. Fill only the bottom part, about 1/3 of the container. This gives the cuttings enough space to stand upright while still keeping the environment humid. Gently spread the moss to create a soft and even surface. Don't press too much, the roots need airflow as well as moisture. Put each cutting upright with the node touching the surface of the moss. The node should never be buried too deep. It only needs light contact with the moss to start forming new roots. Gently press each cutting into place, just enough so it stands stable. Don't push them too far down. Pink Princess cuttings root best when there is moisture below them and air around the stem. Also make sure there is space between each cutting. Good airflow keeps prevent rot and also helps you see each growth point clearly as it develops. Now I'm going to cover the container. You can use a lid, plastic wrap or anything that creates a light humidity dome. It shouldn't be completely airtight. Covering the container helps keep the environment warm and humid, which is exactly what Pink Princess cuttings need to start forming new roots. But at the same time, they still need a little airflow to prevent rot and mold, so always leave a small gap or don't close the lid all the way. If your lid is airtight, open it once a day for at least half an hour. And if you notice a lot of water droplets forming inside the container, open it more often to let some of the moisture escape. I will not spray these cuttings right now because the moss is already moist and the plant is still recovering from root rot. Keeping the moisture low at the beginning helps prevent the rot from coming back. But if your cuttings were taken from a healthy plant, you can lightly mist the top of the moss. Place the container in a bright and warm spot, but without direct sunlight. During this period, I suggest checking the moss on a regular basis, and if it starts to dry out, lightly spray it with filtered, distilled or rainwater. Don't let the moss dry out completely. It should always stay slightly moist. In the next few weeks, you should start to see some changes. At first, the stem will form a callus on the cut area. Then, tiny white roots will begin to appear from the node. This can take anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, depending on temperature, humidity, and the overall health of the cutting. So don't rush the process. As long as the stem looks firm and healthy, it's doing well. You don't need to touch the cuttings or move them, just keep the moss slightly moist and let them root naturally. When the new roots grow to about 1 to 2 inches long, the cuttings will be ready to pot in soil. I'll make short videos to show you the progress during the rooting stage so you can follow the entire transformation step by step. I hope you liked this video and that it helped you save your struggling pink princess or propagate a healthy one. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more plant care tips. Thanks for watching and happy growing!